Hello, beautiful people. How are you doing today? I want to welcome you into space as I get Coach Kayla in here.
Hello. Hi, Tia. Hi, everyone.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome, welcome. Tia, how are you feeling today?
I'm a little crump. I don't know.
Really?
Surprisingly, when you're talking about this topic called forgiveness,
Yeah.
I'm actually a little excited today. I mean, literally want to get up and dance. That has been my morning, like getting in this space, dancing and stuff like that. So I'm just really excited for what's to come in this conversation today.
Me
How about
too.
you?
I feel like I've been feeling that way since we decided that this was going to be the topic. I've just been like, yeah, I can't wait for our IG live because it's powerful. It's
Yeah.
powerful stuff we're going to be talking about today, and helpful, and just to break it down too, because it is like forgiveness. It's like makes the skin crawl. So I'm excited too. I'm glad.
Right. And I just want to say that the reel that I did yesterday on for forgiveness and how we a lot of people respond to the topic of forgiveness by dodging it and avoiding it, like, no, I'm not ready, I'm ready, I can do it. um was really evident. It proved evident that this is a really
Yeah,
challenging topic for folks to embrace. And so I'm so glad that we decided to take it on.
me too. It's been a journey for us too, and I know we've talked about it, so I'm
Yeah.
really excited to dive into
Yeah.
it. And I loved your reel yesterday. I was laughing so hard.
Right.
Get me
We had
away.
like
But
what?
then,
What?
but the
Yes.
thing is, at the end of the day, you get there at your own pace, at your own
Right.
time, and that's what's to celebrate, you know? So awesome.
Right. Right. Well, we want to welcome everybody. Hello, good afternoon, because it's officially afternoon now in California,
Yes.
so I know we're the last ones. We want to welcome you definitely to the space. We see some new faces. Snake Man says it's Snake Man's first time with us.
Welcome.
Um, JC says, great topic. It can immobilize you. Right, right,
Absolutely.
right. And so we want to welcome everybody in. Thanks
Yeah,
for
welcome.
coming to spend this time with us today.
Yeah, we're so excited. So we want to start off as we always like to come in hard, you know. This whole IG live today, let's be real, it's going to be heavy, it's going to be
Right.
hard. So giving ourselves some grace, but we wanted to check in with, where are you with your self-love journey right now? Where are you? Just taking a minute to think about that and check in.
Yeah. Let us know in the
Yeah,
comment.
let us know below. We want to see what you guys have been thinking, how you're feeling, and be honest. Doesn't help anyone to lie.
Yeah. Because we would really love to hear and see your comments about this. You can rate it from 1 to 5, 1 being not doing so much of my self-care, not doing really anything for myself, or 5, I've been regularly engaging in your self-care practices. So I really don't want any judgment against yourself. I want you to give yourself some grace, because as if you haven't been doing any of your self-care practices, I want you to know today is a new day. It's a new
Mhm.
opportunity to
Mm,
get into that, creating those routines for yourself, because these are the basics to your well-being. So normalizing and making it a part of your routine that you're going to take care of yourself. You're going to check in with yourself and see what you need to do to nourish your soul. Okay.
absolutely.
All
Thanks,
right.
Tia. I see we got some comments coming in here.
What we got?
So I see some threes, 3.5, twos,
3.5.
0.1. Thanks for being honest. We really appreciate that. Another two.
Hey, Zoko Moko, hit or miss. Um, 0.1. Awesome. So it's also important in this moment. I want to acknowledge that it's important to not acknowledge what you are. So if you don't take that time to be aware of where you are, and without that awareness, it's hard to make the transition and start doing something
Absolutely.
with intentionality. So I want you to continue on your fight to be intentional about what you want for your future. And a part of in the fight for your future, you are on that journey, right? So you got to take care of you, and that's going to be super important. So keep in the fight for your life, everyone.
Absolutely. And Tia's so right. We got to start by showing up as we are and accepting as we are and just starting there. Because if we don't start with where we're
Right.
at, it's going to be a whole lot harder.
Right.
So I
Right.
think I just want to just celebrate all of you for just acknowledging where you guys are at, because it really is the first step. So
Right. And someone
today,
said, Carly said, starting to understand that I need to put my self-care on higher on my to-do list. Right.
absolutely.
Right.
It should be the top of the list.
Right.
I
Right.
know we're working on that. All of us are
Right.
actively. But I love that recognition. So,
and that can be the intention to
right.
get yourself to the top of your to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
Really, you becoming
Absolutely.
a priority. So making choices daily that get you there. All right.
Woohoo! Yay. Thank you, everyone. So, today we are talking about forgiveness, and we always love to start by asking you, how do you feel about forgiveness? So, drop an emoji in the chat. How do you feel about forgiveness? What's coming up for you? Again, checking in with where you're at. How does it make you feel when you hear that word?
Were you like the reel, like I demonstrated in the reel? If you saw it, where you dodging, like when somebody say the word forgiveness, you feeling like you just got hit, like something like that.
Right. Yeah, maybe it doesn't even feel like you're dodging. Maybe you're just getting hit straight
Right.
on.
Right.
I see Priscilla said it's hard. Absolutely. It is hard.
What else? Let us know how you feeling, folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard
It's hard
sometimes.
sometimes, right?
Absolutely. I love that emoji though. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I
Right.
don't
Right. Right.
know. I just know I
Right.
don't feel good.
Right. Right.
Absolutely. All right. Well, as we're waiting for those emojis, oh, okay, I see another one. A desire to give it and receive it.
That's it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, as these comments start trickling in, we did want to start by asking you guys a question. And that question is, do you even think that forgiveness is possible?
Mm-hmm.
From the get-go, do you think that it's possible with whatever situation that you're in? Maybe that journey is with yourself. Do you feel that it's even possible? And are you willing to think that it's possible? So
Mm-hmm.
maybe your answer was no, but are you willing to get to a place where you think that that's possible? See a yes. Beautiful.
All right. As we start getting this topic, we wanted to start by giving you a glimpse of the impact that forgiveness could have on you. Great. I see some comments
Yeah,
saying, absolutely possible. Yes, absolutely. So that's a win. That's a win, because sometimes we may not even can
be there.
fathom, like, is forgiveness actually possible? Yes, it's possible, but for me, I'm going to have to work hard at forgiveness for sure, because
Absolutely.
it's part of the journey. It's a progression, and so you can definitely get there. And that's how we're going to start this conversation today. I want you to participate in this practice that we're about to do, to really give you a glimpse of what the impact of forgiving can have on you. Because we want you to think of it as you feeling light. So if you would, and you might be asking, what do I mean by light? So this is where the visualizations really gonna come in. So I want you to take this time, sit down, close your eyes. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, allow your feet to feel grounded on the floor and your body to feel braced and supported by if you're laying down or sitting down, okay? And I want you to imagine a heavy weight sitting on your shoulders, or if you have one of those weighted vests, if you've ever experienced that with them arm weights, or one of them, if you're doing a squat with one of them lift weights on your shoulder, really envision this weight on your shoulders or sitting on your chest. It hurts. It's exhausting. It's really causing you to drag your feet. You're moving slower. Just really envision that. Feel that. I want you to feel it in your shoulders and feel the impact on your overall well-being. What are you saying to yourself while you're feeling so weighted down? Now I want you to imagine taking it off. Now when you take them weighted vests off and take them weights and put them down, take them off your arms and legs. Imagine how tall you gonna stand, how light you gonna feel. Really, we want to communicate that to you today. That is the power of forgiveness. All right.
Wow.
Now let's get this started.
Let's get this started.
We get light today.
We are getting light today. Hell yes. I sat through that visualization with you. Thanks for leading that, Tia. And just like that feeling of it just coming off is just indescribable. It is just so powerful. And that is why we're here today, guys. We are ready to take this shit off. I mean, who's with me? I'm ready. I'm ready to let it go. So hello, everyone. Welcome to our IG Live. We are going to be discussing forgiveness. This topic was inspired by our last IG Live. We talked a lot. We got into vulnerability last month. We did 2 IG Lives, which was super fun. And we realized that we've given you guys lots of tips about moving forward, but really wanted to highlight one of those things that got you stuck in the mud, that's got you heavy, it's holding you back, weighing you down, and that's going to be forgiveness. So if you know anyone who would really benefit from this conversation, please tag them below. Make sure that they're here, a part of this talk. Make sure that they know that this is happening. So go ahead and tag them below. And I'm going to give you guys a minute or two to do that. I see wow and peaceful from that visualization. I agree. So powerful. Okay, well, my name is Kayla Winters. For anyone who doesn't know us or hasn't been along with us on this journey yet, hello, I am a Moon Phase life coach, yoga instructor, and the proud owner of the Lunar Radiance Wellness Center. And my baddie co-host is...
Yo, I am Tia Truss, a life coach and the owner of Phoenix Nest Coaching. So again, we really want to express our appreciation for you following us and continue on this journey in the fight for your life. If it's your first time, again, we want to say welcome. If this isn't, welcome back. And as always, we do these lives at least every month. Last month, we jumped and did 2. So we want you to get that content, experience that content if you haven't seen it before, because it has some coaching tips. And as you are in the journey for your healing, your peace, your joy, your health and well-being, those tips are important because they are building upon topics that are helping you in your healing journey. So we want to encourage you to go back and check those out. You can find them on either of mine or Kayla's pages on my website as well. So we definitely want you to have access to that information. So for sure, go and check it out. By the way, we've been at this 8 months, so it's a lot of awesome content out there. And so we want to continue to thank you all for supporting us on our journey.
So much gratitude. Oh, I I'm so excited. 8 months, 9 IG lives. High five, Tia.
Right.
So as we jump into this and go through our IG Live, we want to encourage you guys to participate. We really want you guys to be active during this because it's just important. It allows you to get nitty gritty and practice before going out to the real world where it is, y'all know, it's gucky. So ask questions, comment, send emojis, reflecting on how you're feeling related to the information that we're sharing. Whatever it is, feel free to drop it below. We're just so excited to have you guys here. So forgiveness is heavy. As we know, it's got some weight to it. And we also really want to take some time to acknowledge that forgiveness has layers to it. There's so many layers to forgiveness, and coming from like who to forgive, how to forgive, there's just so many pieces. Today, we really want to hone in on the self. Where are we when it comes to focusing on just simply embracing this idea of forgiveness? And as we provide you guys some steps, we really want you guys to just be taking the time to wrap your brain around what this all looks like. We already decided that we're going to do more IG lives on forgiveness because this topic, it's books for days, information for days, because it is so heavy, it is so hard, it is so like all of these things. And so it's going to take more than 1 hour to get into really providing you guys lots of comprehensive tips and tools to be able to truly move forward. So we want you guys to first just embrace this. We want you guys to learn with us and then hit a place where you really feel like this is so truly possible for you guys to move forward. So we're really excited. I want to let you guys know a lot of today's information I got from a book that I've been reading called Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. So check that out. And we're going to provide some more resources at the end as well. But how about, Tia, we touch on a little bit about when we decided that this was going to be a topic, right? Like last month, we decided like, hey, we're going to do forgiveness. How did you feel? What came up for you, Tia?
So, in our last IG live, I recalled the memory so vividly because I remember Zoko Moko asked us a question about forgiveness, and you asked me to answer it, and I literally felt like the person I was demonstrating in my reel, like woohoo! Yeah. That came out of nowhere. I wasn't ready. Because it's such a challenging thing, and there's so many phases of it. And so I was shook a little bit because, I know I'm on my journey, but there's some big components of forgiveness that I still have to address. Because as I shared in my story, you all, I have had various types of abuse happen to me. And so that's really challenging. And then there's some other things that are challenging because it's hard for us to embrace letting things go. It's like, what are we giving these other people who've heard us permission to go on and enjoy their life? Well, the reality is they probably are living their lives and enjoying them and not even fazed by the things that are holding us. So this is probably just impacting me more so than the others. So that's the big part about it for me. And the reason why I'm so excited about the topic is because also in learning more and more about it in order to have this conversation, it's helping me further myself on this journey to these bigger issues that I need to release.
Absolutely.
How about you, Kayla?
I felt very similar. I kind of felt like a deer in headlights. I was like, oh, I just said this on IG Live that we're going to talk about this topic that I struggle with. Ooh, girl, you gotta get ready. You gotta prepare for this. You're sharing this information and this insight with other people, and like, where are you? And I thought it was honestly the check-in that I like exactly what I needed to really push me to take time to truly learn about this stuff and to like sit there and process it myself. And I feel like it's just so important, like, as even though we are life coaches, we are also actively on this journey ourselves. And like, no, I haven't forgiven everyone, and I'm not just forgiveness. Like, yeah, I have my walls up. Yeah, I'm still actively learning, but I'm moving, but it's still steps forward. I'm still moving. And
And
I'm
that's why
meeting.
we talk about it as a journey. It's
Yeah,
not a period. It's a journey. It's a
it
healing
is.
journey, forgiveness journey. All of it is a part of the journey. And
Absolutely.
so the biggest thing that came out for me when that really thought about this topic is just like you avoiding it first. The first phase of it is then embracing it as
Yeah.
something that you are wanting in your future, whether you even can see how it's going to be feasible. First, I need to embrace it.
Absolutely.
And so for every one of you who've joined us today, come across this topic, obviously it's time for you to start forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
It's a important
Absolutely.
part of your journey. You are ready for it. That's why you came across and are connected to this topic, because you are ready for this journey of forgiveness. And it doesn't matter what part you are. We all
Yeah.
got to embrace. We got to start at embracing.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. We got to start somewhere. We
We
got to
got to
start.
start with embracing and be like,
Yeah.
okay, I know it's a part. I might not be at the forgiveness phase. Like I'm ready to forgive fully. I got to start with embracing. So
Absolutely.
sometimes the part has been in the past for me. One of the biggest parts is can't even wrap my head around, like, I wouldn't dare set them free of this. No,
Right. Right.
you hurt me in such a big way. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't dare. What? Forgive who?
Right.
That ain't gonna be me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm not going to be crazy. I'm
Right.
not going to be that dumb person who let this person get away with this thing.
Right.
Those are totally conversations that I've had in my own brain when it comes to forgiveness too. Like me, no, they don't deserve that.
Right.
They don't get that opportunity. But again, coming back to wrapping our brains around this, that at the end of the day, it's for us. It's for our own selves, and setting ourselves free and giving ourselves that lightness. We're not ripping off the weight for everyone else. We're just doing it for ourselves, and that's the gift
Yeah.
of forgiveness. That's the power of forgiveness. So,
Because I want to ask a question to the audience real quick. When we did this weight
visualize.
visualization, woo, them words is hard
Got it.
today. Okay.
Got it.
Visualization of releasing those weights. Did anything come to you? Did any issues in any particular relationships come to mind when you were doing that, thinking about those weights that you need to release? Did any situations in particular come to mind? Because that's going to be probably the first ones that you may need to embrace.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why
Absolutely.
those came up during that visualization. I want you to just stay connected with that as we continue in this conversation.
Beautiful.
And so I know, oh yeah, Carly said, this is perfect timing in my life right now. I just embrace the idea that forgiveness is possible, but don't know where to start in my own forgiveness to myself and others. You are so on point, Carly, because that's the stuff we're gonna really talk about it. That's why I want to say to everyone that embracing is our first step.
Yep.
Because you
Absolutely.
can't get anywhere if first I can't even wrap my head around it. And then we're going to get into the next step. So
Mm-hmm.
you might be asking, how is this a part of the healing journey? Well, and really, what does it mean to forgive? So we decided to let you know that it's a verb. So it's an action. And a quick Google search. Google says forgiveness means to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone, for an offense, a flaw, or mistake. So really, most people, like I was saying before, get stuck with the part about stop feeling angry or resentful. So I want you to drop it in the comments real quick if you feel that way as well. So we want to touch on that really today and deal with how to get past the feeling associated with forgiveness, and then talk about the types of forgiveness.
Yay. I'm excited for this. We're just starting. So, okay, is embracing the same thing as acknowledging? I would say so. I think
Mm-hmm.
embracing might be a little bit more of like a hug to it, where like acknowledging is just simply looking. But at least that's the feelings that I get. But I think it's up to you and what that means to you. What do you
Yeah,
think,
because well,
Tia?
I think, and then too, I think acknowledging can be like, oh yeah, I acknowledge that forgiveness is a thing, whether or not I'm willing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Right.
acknowledge it's a thing. Embracing is like more so to me saying forgiveness is going to be a part of my journey.
Right.
You know, like I know I need to forgive. Like that embracing is, I know I need to forgive
Bringing it
some
in.
folks so I can be released and set free in my life, so I can continue on my journey, so my shoulders can be lighter, so my weight can be lighter, so I can have peace, so I can have joy and all of that things, because that forgiveness that is not being done is holding some of those things back. So really embracing it and saying, I know it's going to be hard, but it's part of what I need to do
Mm-hmm.
so that I can be the best person that I need to be.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thank you, Tia, for touching on that for us. We also want to jump into like what emotions that are associated with
Mm-hmm.
the process of not forgiving. So maybe the place that we might be in right now of not forgiving. What does that feel like? What typical emotions come up with this process of just not forgiving?
Mm-hmm.
And we've kind of alluded to it a little bit today, but we want to hear from you guys. What is that's coming up when we don't forgive? What kind of space are we in?
Okay, and we got a question. Is it owning up to it? Um, owning up to it. I feel like owning up to it is more in reference to like someone owning up to they wronging you, um or you owning up to you wronging someone else. So I think that also is a part of the embracing it, is acknowledging that someone has wronged me, and I need to forgive them for that, or I have wronged someone and I need to ask for forgiveness for
Right,
that.
right. Absolutely.
Yes,
I see Soko Moko also put that it manifests in your body.
for sure.
I love that. And that it is heavy. Absolutely. Typically, the process in the space of being in a place of not forgiving, it is not uplifting. It
Mm-hmm.
is not energizing. You feel like that heaviness where your feet are dragging. You do not feel good. And typically, we struggle with these feelings of envy, complaining, anger. Those are kind of the three most popular emotions that we feel when we are in this state of not forgiving. So again, let's play this out in our heads. We're in this place right now where someone hurt us in some sort of capacity. And now we're sitting in this place, and maybe it's been 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just festering.
Mm-hmm.
You are just so angry. You are so hurt. You are sad. How could they do this to me? And it is just sitting there. Do you think it's ever going to go away if we don't hit a place of forgiveness?
Right.
Truly. Probably not. So just want to bring our awareness to what emotions come up when with forgiveness, and what that, or I'm sorry, with the process of not forgiving, and how that really just like it's like a little disease, really, that's just
Mm-hmm.
building up and getting worse and worse and worse, and we're not doing anything to heal it, to love on it, to acknowledge it, to embrace it, any of those things. We're just staring at this wound and we're like, damn, that really hurt me.
Right. And just think of it just like, with those emotions, it's this the stress, and we all know the impact of stress and the tension that it's causing on your body.
Mm-hmm.
So even if part of you embracing it is like, I want to be a completely whole and healthy person, like I have to figure out a way to embrace this so that I can be whole and healthy, so that this is not killing me in my physical body any
Right.
longer.
Absolutely.
Right.
I saw
Right.
a comment regarding like you can't move.
Right.
Absolutely. It stunts your personal growth. Absolutely.
And then just you think about interacting with the individual. If you still have come in contact, it's just applying stress like, oh my gosh, I'm about to come in contact with them. How am I going to do it? Maybe I need to cancel all the things. Imagine all the things that we are carrying. Like, oh my goodness, how can I plan life? Maybe I just need to not be friends with nobody who hang with that person. Like, you are reevaluating your whole life, and it's applying so much stress. And so figuring out, and I'm not saying that you need to come in contact with this person. I'm not saying that your interaction and forgiveness needs to be directly to them person, depending on what they've done. So, in depending on where you are in that process and what is important about it. However, it's going to be important to start embracing it so that you can figure it out. And so we really going to touch on these emotions. So really thinking about anger and how this is such a hugely negative emotion, and it's fiery. It really pulls and great pull, not only towards us, but when somebody angry, this is a whole energy shift. If you angry and you around people, then it impacting everybody else. Is almost contagious. It's like, and then you want to tie folks into the anger. You want other people on the team to be angry and all of that. So it's just really contagious, and then it really limits you to, just like I was speaking to about, then you evaluating where you can go, who you can be around, do you need to cancel, and all of this stuff. So really trying to get to a place of release and stuff so that you are not carrying all of this. And really, I want you to think of it as like, here, I'm just pointing my finger. And so somebody used this analogy. I don't remember when, but somebody showed me. So I'm just pointing my finger at you. Like, here, you did this, you did me wrong, you did this. And then while you are pointing your finger at someone else, look at all these fingers pointing right back at you. So then that allows that grace to really come in, also for you to embrace, like, I am not perfect in this world. And remember, we talked about these maps. Kayla says she loves the conversation about the maps, because we all have our own maps. We all have our own life experiences that have guided us to get to this point, right? And so all of that is very valid in each person's experiences. So then accepting and being grateful that, hey, I'm not perfect either. And I imagine some people need to forgive me, right? And so then now I can even more so entertain, like, this idea of forgiveness gets a little bit easier.
Absolutely.
Gets a little bit easier.
And just touching on like anger and how it really does nothing for us. Absolutely nothing. You can sit there and tell yourself, if you're in like that angry space right now, like, yeah, this is making me feel valid. No. It's doing absolutely nothing for you except, just as Tia said, being contagious, festering, blowing up, making everything so much worse sitting in this place of anger. It does nothing for you. And that is why.
And one thing I do want to say, even though anger, it may not be serving you in a great way, it is a valid emotion.
Absolutely.
And so I want you all to know that if you're angry, it's okay to be angry.
Absolutely.
But I also want you to know that we got to move on past that. We got to go through the phases. I want you to get through the phases. Not that we angry and angry is wrong. These emotions and feelings about it are completely valid.
Absolutely.
But it's a part of the journey. So you got to have those and express those. Even if your anger, to get it out, you need to go in that room and punch that bed and punch them pillows, and just to express it, get it out.
Beautiful. And that's exactly where I was getting to, is like, you can't let it just fester. You can't sit. This is why we hit these places of being stuck, is because we just sit there with anger. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to have these emotions. Absolutely. But do not sit with it.
Right.
When you sit with it and you just stay there, and then you feel alone, and then you feel even worse, like that is not helping you. That does not unlock you. And that's where we hit a place where we must release. We must release, and that is such a huge part of forgiveness. And it really starts with our point of awareness of where we are with ourselves, being able to say, okay, I've been sitting here with this place of anger and I am tired. I am done. I want to be light. I want to let these things go. And so when you hit that point, and sometimes we don't even need to get there. Sometimes we can shortcut that a little bit, but we have to, like Tia says, we have to go through our journey. So maybe we're at a place where we are just exhausted and we need so badly to hit that point of release. And that is so pivotal for this journey of forgiveness, is to let that all out, to let those wounds be shown, to let yourself come into the light and be like, I am hurting. I am not okay. This did not feel good. You know, and it is so important to hit that place with yourself. And we're not going to lie, it is scary as hell. This is like that vulnerability piece that we talked about on our last IG Lives. It is scary. It is uncomfortable to have to hit a place where you're like, I feel like shit. I feel terrible. I look stupid. I look whatever those, again, those emotions that are coming up, you have to feel through that. So we have to release.
And you know what, Kayla, that brought up an example for me. So I want us to get to a point where things that are not that significant, that it's easier for us to release.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you an example. I read this in a book. It was talking about, so this group of friends, they were going on a weekend trip to somewhere. I can't remember where they were going, but they were going on a weekend trip. And in the car ride, then the road trip, and then the car ride, they got into an argument. Now, one of these friends, to push their point and all of that, when they got to the location, they just stayed in the parking lot. They didn't go in and enjoy. Who can relate to this? Now, if y'all can relate to the story as I continue, you let us know in the comments. So, stayed in the parking lot, didn't go in and enjoy themselves, wasn't speaking to anyone. Everybody else is having fun, socializing, has moved on. Then in the car ride back, still not speaking to anyone, and just pissed that nobody else is joining the team in this anger, this frustration for some type of little small argument that took place in the car. And so it ended up ruining and isolating this individual, but everybody else was moving on, letting go, like didn't take it in to that level. So what are you missing out on? That's a good question. What are you missing out on by not releasing these things?
Absolutely.
Because some things are going to take longer. Sometimes we really got to work through more, but we got to also get to a phase where this little argument, I can't hold back my whole life over here because we had a little disagreement. They had their opinion, I had my opinion, and now I don't get to enjoy myself because I need to push the point that I'm irritated and they weren't right, and I'm annoyed by them, right? We got to figure out a way to release that stuff.
Absolutely.
Sooner. Because that's one of our challenges is we got all this little stuff, these little bit of moments that we couldn't even wrap our head around forgiving. And then we got these bigger things that this is what we want to do. Like, I just got to lay down.
Absolutely.
Right.
Exhausting. Yes.
Right.
And I actually love that exercise of like starting with small things. And it could even be as simple as like someone cuts you off, right? Like someone cuts you off and that anger comes in, that those mad feelings come in, right? Are you going to let that ruin your entire day? Or are you going to be like, maybe they had some place to be, clearly. They really had somewhere to be. You know what? I'm going to let it go. You had some place to be. I'm safe now. I forgive you. It could be as simple as practicing that just when you're driving. And maybe that might be a big step for you. But whatever it may be, how you can apply these baby steps into really practicing what it looks like to like actively be forgiving, and going through these phases of like tapping into those emotions and how it made you feel, and then so on. So absolutely.
And then we want to say 99% of forgiveness is not really for the other person. If you've heard us mainly we've been focused on ourselves. So 99% of this is not for anybody else. It's really for us. So as we mentioned, this anger, envy, complaining, we allow it to consume us, and it really leaves us worse off. So have the emotion, our frustration, express ourselves, because we've already talked about communication. And so sharing and being honest about how something has impacted us. And then really think about yourself and how you could benefit from forgiveness and what ways you would thrive from not having this weight on your shoulders.
Absolutely. And I like to just to clarify kind of like what this weight is that I think of, because sometimes it can be confusing. Like, yeah, I feel heavy, but like what? So these weight are the emotions that we are carrying with this. The emotions that are hurting us, that hurt feeling. And so really we just again want to bring your attention to the fact that we have to feel. We have to feel. And then from feeling, once we hit a place of acknowledging our feelings, being able to take that weight off, we have to invite in compassion. You're probably like, Kayla, no. Compassion, yes, yes. And I want you to not only bring compassion for the other person, again, coming back to the self, coming back to you, giving yourself compassion. In this situation, I did the best that I could with the tools that I had. And then once we allow ourselves to do that for us, it makes it a little bit easier to be able to do it for the other people too. They did the best that they could with the tools that they had. With their map that is valid, that is different than mine. They are doing the best that they can to navigate that, just as I am with my map that is valid and different than theirs. We are doing the best that we can. And again, we're not saying that this is easy. It is not easy. It is an active practice that it takes of feeling, which is a lot, and then allowing in that compassion piece to really allow you to unlock those tools to truly forgive, to be able to release. I feel this way, but I also recognize that you're a human. I feel this way, but I recognize that me alone am human, and I am doing the best that I damn can with the tools that I have right now.
Right.
Am I able to let that go now? Right. Am I able to find peace? Am I able to find acceptance with that? So these two pieces, I promise, are so pivotal for this journey of forgiveness. If you can feel through those emotions, and if you can recognize the humanity in ourselves and in others, you're off to a really, really strong start.
Right. And really, like Kayla was saying, I really want to say, so far we've really been talking more in the context of when others have hurt us. But I want to take this moment and also say maybe the first person we need to forgive is ourselves. So when this situation happened, what did we say? Gosh, did I could have avoided that? Did I take on any shame because of it? Did I take on any blame because of it? Did I lose my value because of it? How did it impact me? So then forgiving myself, like, as I've shared, I have an extensive abuse history, both physical and sexual. So a lot of times what I find is I take on some shame and blame and all of this stuff in all these years and allow it to determine my value. And the fact I had to forgive myself for buying into what these toxic individuals convinced me of, that I decided I had some part in these negative experiences. I had to forgive myself and say, Tia, that wasn't yours. That wasn't yours. So maybe the person to start with is you. So what do you need to forgive yourself for? What are you taking blame, shame, and angry at yourself for?
Okay. Beautiful, Tia. Thank you. And thank you for sharing part of your story again.
Ooh, and now, y'all, Oh, some Zokomoko said most of us have benefited from receiving forgiveness at some point in our lives. This helps me with empathy and giving grace. Excellent, excellent, excellent example,
Mm-hmm.
Zokomoko. And then, right. So, and then I can even tell you, as I'm about to start this, thinking about like revenge.
Ooh.
Let's really talk about it. And then this eye for an eye concept. Like, you hurt me, so I just want to hurt you just as bad. Who can relate? Let me know if y'all can relate. Okay. And again, who does that help? That becomes consuming, right? Um, and it eventually is, if you believe in karma, then it could backfire, because somehow it can come back to you. You just have to believe that the universe is going to work it out.
Mm-hmm.
Release it. The universe is going to work it out. If you're a believer, then God will work it out. You don't have to take these things on yourself.
Absolutely. And when I think about revenge for myself in the places when I felt like, God, I just want them to know like how bad I hurt.
Right.
I just want them to know. Like if only they could know like how bad I'm hurting right now. And typically that comes from a place of me not accepting like how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And me not being willing to sit here and be like, this is the turmoil that I'm in. This is the discomfort that I'm feeling, and not giving myself that hug and not giving myself that love that I deserve. And all I'm just wanting is just like that. Again, it's like that festering feeling of like, I just want them to know how bad I hurt. But I'm not sitting here being like, girl, it's okay. I got you. You know, like I love you. I see your worth. I like, I got you. It's okay
Mm-hmm.
that you're going through this, you know? And to me, those are kind of the feelings that come up when I think about revenge in the past and the mindset that I've been. I definitely was not providing myself that love. I definitely was not providing myself that acknowledgement of how I'm feeling. Hence why I'm wanting so bad for someone else to get it when in reality, no one else is going to get truly how deep you feel other than yourself. So coming to that place of acceptance, I feel like with the emotions is just, whew,
Right. Right.
absolutely. So really quickly, we just want to touch again and like recap what we just gone over. We still have a little bit more that we want to jump into with you guys. But again, tapping into allowing yourself to feel, feel. Find a safe space, making sure that you're safe in that space, and then allowing yourself to feel through what's going on, maybe journaling about it, whatever it may be, tapping into you, then hitting that place of compassion. I know, Kayla, that you're doing the best that you can with the tools that you have. It's okay. And then allowing yourself to hit that place of, okay, I can take the weight off. Oh, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. Taking that weight off. So it's so powerful to be able to learn to go through this process of being open, and then ultimately again learning to love on yourself. Like this is such an act of love,
Mm-hmm.
such an
Right.
act of love, and so powerful. Again, all these journeys intertwine and they really come together with that self-love journey. And so just coming back to this place of like, I want to love myself, and this is like the best gift that I could give myself, of just being light, so that way I can let love in, so that way I can be that person with intentions of finding joy and care, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So awesome. So awesome, Kayla. Um, and in a minute, we're going to show you how to really use this checkpoint of release. So, um, this really brings us to our conversation where we talked about the different types of forgiveness. So the different types are zero forgiveness. Some of us might be leaning there. If you use a zero forgiveness, let us know. Conditional forgiveness. Oh my. I can't wait till we get into these types. All right. Transformational forgiveness and unconditional forgiveness, which is also known as radical forgiveness. Okay.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tia, for introducing those. And we're going to get into those. So, just to share a little bit of kind of my journey with learning about forgiveness this past month. So, I picked up this book called Radical Forgiveness because I was like, okay, I've heard of like radical compassion, radical love, all these things. So, I was like, all right, let's see what this has to say. And I did not like any of it. I did not. I was like, no, you expect me to do what? You expect me to just forgive, pretend that nothing happened? Like I was so resistant to it because I couldn't wrap my brain around the fact that like you're just supposed to let these things go. Really. And so I really want to, with sharing that journey and radical forgiveness or unconditional forgiveness, it's a journey to get to. But what we really want you guys to focus on is transformational forgiveness. So again, if you look at these kind of as like levels, we have that 0, conditional, transformational, and then unconditional. Of course, we can work our way up to that radical unconditional forgiveness. But what I really want you guys to zone in on is that transformational forgiveness as really being our goal as we move forward. And then we're going to take a minute to break each and every one of these down, and hopefully we don't call you out too hard with each one of these. But
Hey, we
they're
all
great
gonna be honest up
checkpoints.
in here. The
Yes, we
struggle is
are.
for real around this
It is
forgiveness.
so
Okay, the
real.
struggle is real.
Yes.
Yes. So,
So
so of course, I'm gonna get you started with this 0 forgiveness. So you pretty much get it. Like I ain't forgiving them for nothing. What? I never ever not forgive. And really, that's where a lot of us have been. Like that's why I always got to start with that embracing. I ain't forgiving for what? Really? That ain't happening. That is not happening. So really, I want you to think about what kind of emotions are involved in this type of forgiveness. I'm gonna give you a second to put that in the chat. What type of emotion do you think is associated with 0 forgiveness? I ain't what?
I do a
Please
what? Excuse
get up out of here.
me. Absolutely. And then as we're like looking at these comments here, I just want to touch base on checking in with you guys too. So Carly mentioned that she's wanted to seek revenge in the past so that others would feel as bad as they did, given the situation, and how she's still working on getting to this place of forgiveness first, which is powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Sokomoko mentioned that it was a good point. I don't need to hurt anyone else to justify my hurt. I need that. Seeking revenge negates that. Absolutely. It really does not help again at all. And it's okay to acknowledge those feelings of like wanting to create that, but then coming back to like, how can I love on myself? How can I? And I think that we'll get into transformational, but like how to transform that into love for yourself rather than anger and whatnot. So that brings us, okay, Carly mentioned anger.
Anger, that's it.
She
Ding,
got
ding,
it.
ding, ding.
Ding, ding,
Of
ding.
course. Right. Right.
It is so rooted in anger and all those emotions that, again, are just like festering. So that brings us to conditional forgiveness. And I think this is a place of definitely like working towards embracing forgiveness, but maybe not having all those tools and that education of like, what does forgiveness really look like? And what does that mean for me? I think it's definitely coming from maybe more of like a revenge state, but
this
it
me,
is
y'all. This has been me for with 1 or 2 particular people situation. It has been conditional. So go ahead and
absolutely,
talk to
yeah.
them, baby.
So like words that we would use when we're in like this conditional forgiveness is like, I'll apologize when they do, or I'll forgive them once they do this. Whew, I am guilty of that one. I'm trying to like give them these like boundaries, barriers that I'm trying to make to like get to this place of forgiveness when really I'm just still rooted in these like festering emotions. And it definitely sounds more like a transaction, and our transactions rooted in love. Our transactions rooted in joy. Are transactions rooted in peace?
Mm-hmm.
And so bringing us back to like, what emotions does this kind of forgiveness stir up for us again?
Mm-hmm. And while y'all put that in the comments, I'm finna give you an example of mine, because mine's a little different. So
Yeah.
a little different. So y'all might relate to mine, you might relate to the examples Kayla got. But my conditional forgiveness has been, I said I forgive you because I really desire forgiveness. However, in my heart, it really wasn't there. I really wanted the forgiveness. I wanted the release, because everybody keeps saying forgiveness is for you. And so you getting your power back and all of this stuff. And I just really wanted it. I wanted it. So I said to the person, I forgive you. And then inside, when it was good, as long as it seemed like they was doing right and trying to be a better person. But as soon as they screwed up, not even directly to me, not as soon as they screwed up
Just a
and
little
seemed
bit.
like they was
Yeah.
shady again, and then my forgiveness went to crap. I ain't forgive them no more. They hadn't been told necessarily, but that was my condition. My condition is they had to show up as a better person for my forgiveness to stick. Can any of y'all relate to that? Ooh.
I know I can. I hear that, like, with the forgiveness, just like, it's like you just, maybe it's like a piece of paper and you're like, here you go, here's this forgiveness, and then you're like, yank,
Right.
out the
Who gonna forgive
window.
you? I take it back. Take it back.
I did what? I did not.
Right.
I did not. And I really, I feel that too, Tia, of you saying like, I want it to be forgiveness.
Right.
I want it, but again, I'm still denying the fact that like I'm feeling shitty, or they made me go through this. I'm like, okay, I just won't feel shitty as long as I watch them from afar. I'm like, that's not love.
Right.
That's not love for yourself. That's not love for the other person.
And
again,
imagine the freaking emotions that gotta go with that. Every time it's like I'm just all of this. It's like here and there. I just can't ever get free. I'm just stuck. Like, oh my gosh, I forgive you, don't forgive you, I don't forgive you. It's just like I'm running down the treadmill. I'm trying to forgive, but it ain't coming. I'm just still running, trying to get there.
Right.
But I feel no type of way different. So
Absolutely.
I think one of the biggest things why this topic is so important and why we're going to do it as a series is because it's always brought up, but nobody is really giving us tools to help us get there.
Mm-hmm.
To help us get there.
Mm-hmm.
And you are so right, Zokomoko, because there is an unrealistic expectation that it's going to happen instantly. Hey, right. That's why it's in Jersey. We've been bracing. We got to start embracing. Then we got to forgive ourselves.
Yeah.
And then put it together and fathom how we are going to set ourselves free.
Yep.
Show enough stuff. Y'all, we trying to get off this stuck train. Because
We
some of
really
these situations
are
are still real to me. So this process and really educating myself is really helping. And so that's one of the things we encourage is after embracing, you really got to start educating yourself. Like, okay, let me really read and think about and ponder and sit on this topic, like of releasing and how to make it feasible and attainable for me. So I can have my power back. So I can have my peace. So I can have my joy.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see these folks, they ain't phasing me because I am free. Like, who wants to be free? Like, we putting our wings out. We flying because we free. Okay?
Yes, we are.
So ready to be free.
So ready. And I think that's where we hit this next place of transformation, because not only, I think conditional forgiveness too, like it's really a reflection of ourselves too. Like we have so many conditions on ourselves. We have so many, we are so rooted in things that aren't that freedom, that joy, that peace, that it's just, again, it's all festering into these emotions of anger, resentment, and like towards ourselves. Just, we could go on forever. And and it doesn't happen overnight. I wish that Tia and I were out here on IG Live selling forgiveness pills for
like here's
$69.99. Here you go.
Right.
You'll feel
It's
better
a commitment.
tomorrow. It's
a commitment to you and your fight for your life.
Absolutely. It is a commitment, and it is a journey day in and day out that, again, like Tia mentioned this, like we are on this fight. we're on this fight for joy, this fight for peace, and it doesn't feel good all the time. It doesn't feel good, but once
It's
you
tough
hit that,
work.
it's tough work, but once you hit that place where it does transform, it does click in, and we're not saying that it doesn't click out. It might click out. I mean,
It's
T and I have
continuous
been
work.
there. It's continuous work all the time, but once it does click in, it gets easier and easier, and it really just starts
Right.
with this point of you. How
Right.
can you forgive you? How can you feel through your emotions for you? How
Right.
can you let go for you? So, mm. So
And you
Tia,
can't skip the steps in the journey. So as
no,
life coaches, we got to tell you there's steps in particular order to get you there. So you can't start here today, embrace, and then we at all the way of forgiveness tomorrow. So like it's
absolutely,
steps in the journey to really, really release.
absolutely.
Now there's some things you could probably embrace it today and release it. Like if somebody ate your sucker and or your food that was in the fridge, and you might can release that today. You can embrace that and release it. Okay. There's some other things that's gonna take a little bit more effort. So
Absolutely.
you need to do the steps in the order so it's truly released, truly set free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Truly. All right, Tia, take it away with transformational. What does that
All
look
right.
like?
This transformational forgiveness is I forgive you and expect nothing back. So
I'm sorry. Did you just put down expectations, Tia?
we did.
We did.
We did. And we just talked about that conditional when we expected folks. So imagine, ooh, to get to this place. I forgive
Wow.
you. And even if you don't want to apologize, if you don't want to act different and what I expect you to act better now to show that even without you showing remorse, you ain't even got to show remorse. Ooh, come on, folks. Do y'all hear me? Imagine the transformational forgiveness where I forgive you and expect nothing in return. Now I know this forgiveness, but it's a hard sometimes, sometimes we can think about it with some people. Oh, that's easy, really. Think about somebody who in your life you trust and it ain't no problem for me to forgive them, to roll off, something like that. So I can definitely tell you, with some of my family members and my best friend, like we had this relationship, right? So we get
Mm-hmm.
to operate in honesty. We communicate regularly. They're in tune with me. So it's easy, but like, oh, you got on my nerve today, okay? I'm gonna forgive you for getting on my nerves. I'm gonna set you free. I don't
Mm-hmm.
expect nothing in return. I don't expect that you're not gonna get on my nerves tomorrow, but I'm gonna set you free today, right? So some
Right.
people it'll be easier to not expect anything back. Others, that's why it's a journey.
Absolutely. And
But
to
we got
me,
this, y'all.
we
We
do.
got this.
We got this. And like, we're also here to like empower you on this journey too. Like, lift you up, like, lift each other up to like hit this point. And hearing you talk about that, Tia, like having that experience where it's like, oh, yeah, maybe these two people did the exact same thing to me, but it's so much easier. Like, and the
Right.
reason why is because compassion is there.
Right.
Because you see that other person, you're like, you're human. I get you.
Right.
I get you, but that other person, we see them as like, you know, ugh,
We villainize them, all
yeah,
of the
we
things.
we
Right.
we create this like persona about them when really they're just a human doing the best that they can. And it doesn't excuse, I know like forgiveness, there's so many levels of like harm
Right.
that we like experience. So I know I want to just like acknowledge that
Right.
there's so many different types of like forgiving, and the sense of like levels of harm. But how important that piece of compassion is, because with compassion it is so easy to be like, all right, I see you're human. Oh, I
Right.
see you were going through some shit that day that made you act the
Right.
way that you did towards me. Okay, I see
Right.
you that you were
Right.
going through something hard too. Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. I release you from that. It's so much easier when you're able to have that peace, but
Right. And then in those type of situations, really, because you can get there too, because you have a different level of communication.
Yes.
Remember, we talked
Yep.
about that, a different level of communication and honesty and stuff like that. So, and able to really release and share. So you feel like there's some understanding in the place where you've been seen and heard. And then when there's not that over here, it's gonna be a little bit more complicated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Okay, so the last one is unconditional forgiveness or radical forgiveness, however you'd like to call it. And this is, I forgive you no matter what you did. I forgive you no matter what. It is gone. I see it's washed away. And that takes so much love. And I think, and I want to speak from the self perspective. Even thinking of like hitting a point of unconditional love and unconditional forgiveness, radical forgiveness for yourself, it requires so much love, so much honor, so much respect. You know, respect, I love to see respect as something, so spect is to look and is to do again. So that ability to be able to look at that person or yourself again with new eyes.
Right.
With love, to be so rooted. And again, I see Zokomoko, it's a goal. It's a goal.
Right.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be there right now. Again, our real goal is to hit that transformational where we're turning this into love. But unconditional, that radical forgiveness of just like, I release. I feel that hurt. I see that you're human. I let it go. And it is a practice. It is a practice. So again, being kind to ourselves with that one, because I know we reach for it, but I want to bring us back to that transformational forgiveness, because that right now that's where the money's at. that's where the love is at. That's where it transforms into like more of a loving space rather than festering in the anger and all those emotions where we get stuck. So let's transform. Let's transform. Let's be rooted in love. Let's be rooted in peace for ourselves, for no one else. For no one else, just yourself. Give yourself that key, because at the end of the day, you deserve it. You deserve to be light. You deserve to be able to pick up your feet, to move with grace, with love. You deserve it.
All right, so we're going to do a checkpoint. This is checkpoint number 1. So where are you with your forgiveness? Okay, let us know. And what kind of forgiveness are you offering? Where are you with your forgiveness, and what kind of forgiveness are you offering? That's checkpoint number 1. Kayla gonna hit us up with checkpoint number 2.
So these are like our 2 big action items that we want you guys to like walk away with, this whole embracing of just like checking in with yourself. Kind of like we checked in at the beginning with like, where are we with our self-love journey? Where are we with our self-care? We want you to do the same thing with forgiveness. So think about whatever situation, where am I at? Am I at 0 forgiveness? Oh, hell no. I am not forgiving them. Okay, that's fine. We're accepting that. We're honoring that. Checkpoint number 2 is, do I want to hit a place of release? Do I want to have lightness? And if so, we got to go through our 2 steps of feeling and compassion.
Right.
How am I feeling? Did I check in with my emotions? If I'm at 0 forgiveness, have I checked in with how I'm feeling? Do I feel terrible? Have I checked in with that? And then how am I offering myself compassion in that moment? Really allowing yourself to walk through there, and then doing it again. Okay, I did that. Now where am I? Maybe I'm at more of like a conditional forgiveness, leaning more towards 0 still. That's okay. Again, just checking in with yourself, and kind of, again, this is like that education piece to help you like embrace this. Okay, I'm educating myself, so now I'm more active and being intentional with like where I want to be with my forgiveness. It doesn't mean it needs to just happen, but it
Right.
just means, how can I check in? How am I honoring myself along this way of getting to this transformational, love-rooted place of like, okay, I'm letting this go now. I'm at a place where I'm ready to let it go. So
Right. Right.
I hope you guys wrote those down.
Right. And then, as Kayla said, we are expecting by our next IG Live that you continue to educate yourself. So around this, embracing is educating yourself, reading some different things. We're going to provide you some resources, but educating yourself so that you can set your intention by our next IG Live around forgiveness. Okay.
Absolutely.
And so I see Carly has a question, so I want to tap into that real quick. Can you have different types of forgiveness to different people depending on how close you are? I feel like with some people, I'm closer to unforgiving. Oh, it might be what was that? The unconditional
Unconditional.
forgiveness, but others zero. For sure. For sure.
Absolutely.
That's what we were just talking about. Talking about this, some people it's easier to do, and then others will be like, the hell you say? Okay?
Absolutely.
The hell you say? So, but that's why we wanted you to even connect with that, because that will let you know first that it's impossible. So you can, not impossible, that it's possible.
Yeah.
So that you can wrap your head around, even now, these bigger things that we are still at zero forgiveness with, that we can get there. It's possible,
Yeah, it is.
but it's going to take a bit more work. So reading and educating myself and really trying to understand what this is going to do for me. How am I going to get there? What is this doing to me?
Absolutely.
Why do I need to really take on this fight seriously? Because what is it doing to me?
Mm-hmm.
How is it impacting my well-being? This happy, healthy, peaceful, joyful person that I desire to be. How is this unforgiveness impacting me?
Yeah.
So that it can help us start to be ready for the next stages that we'll provide in our upcoming IG Live, so that we can start moving through the process. So really educating, reading materials. If you're a believer, maybe you need to read some scripture in the Bible, as well as we have some other books and stuff about healing your life and things like that, and really getting into those things.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it is completely normal and realistic that you're going to have folks in different categories.
Absolutely.
Shoot, your coach over here, Tia doesn't acknowledge that for sure. Is some folks in different categories. And that's why I'm saying we being transparent. We are not perfect. And that's why this topic was so on time.
Right.
Because it really had required us to not put this on the back burner any longer. Because sometimes we'll put things off. I'm like, whoo, I know I need to work on that, but man, that is not a priority. But now it's really a priority. It's urgent. It's important now.
Mm-hmm.
A question to you is, how important is this to you to start working on now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. Beautiful. I love this, and I want to also touch on, Tia brought up this point when we were talking yesterday a little bit deeper about all this. It's just like, where are your intentions?
Mm-hmm.
You know, how important is this? Where are your intentions? Where do you want to be? Do you want to be angry? Probably not. I can guarantee you, probably all of us on this IG Live do not want to be an angry, resentful, revenge-driven person all the time.
Right.
We want the peace. We want the love. We want all of these good feelings, these nourishing feelings. And so really seeing where you stand, and then how does that reside with moving forward with forgiveness?
Mm-hmm. Hey, I really want to quickly throw out this other emotion, this bitterness. I ain't even gonna hit on it. I just want to throw it out. Throw it out.
She's just gonna leave it right there for you guys.
Leave it there. We all know what we talking about.
Yeah. Sad eye. I love that. Tia, did you want to share any resources that you had when it came to learning more about forgiveness for you?
It's a few. So One of the books is by Louisa Hay. You Can Heal Your Life. She also has another book, You Can Heal Your Body. Because the important message we want you to realize is, as you are further developing and trying to be a fully healthy being, all of this is impacting your mind and your body.
Absolutely.
And so not just putting food in your body and exercising and doing your meditation and things are important. This is important because this impacts your mind and your body.
Yeah.
So you can heal your life and you can heal your body. Here's another one. It's called Nonviolent Communication. Okay. So here's a few. There's another one. I can't think of the name of that book. But if you want to know books for sure, DM me and I can tell you another one. It's another one I listened to on Audible. But for sure, check out and read different things.
Yeah.
And based on your different readings, like, you're not just taking on what you're reading. You take that reading, develop your own understanding, and it will help you develop an approach. Just like us coming to these IG Lives and having conversations about things, then you think about it in the context of your life, because here we believe you are the expert in your life. So you apply that information, and in the context of your life, you apply it to your life.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's the best thing that you could do, because otherwise you're not honoring yourself at the end of the day. You're not honoring where you're at on your journey. And just one of my favorite resources is, I did start with the Radical Forgiveness, which is like a 10 on the scale of forgiveness. And I was like, yeah, let's see what this is about. And I immediately was like, ew, no. But it's all about just work. Like, I think I was definitely at a place where I was like acknowledging forgiveness and acknowledging, but I was not ready to embrace at least the perspective of radical forgiveness. And so I did tone it down a little bit, and I checked out some other books. I really like, I had mentioned Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty. He has really great chapters on forgiveness as well, and fear and how it plays into all of that as well.
Right.
So forgiveness, it's got hella chapters everywhere in so many books. So it's just a matter of just taking that time to just check it out.
Right. And fear comes up in a lot of these resources, is what really the fear around forgiveness.
Yes.
And what that represents. And so we definitely gonna dig deeper into these things, but we wanted to really tap in today around embracing, thinking about the different types, so that we can set our intentions so that we can have exactly what we want.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Well, we want to open up if anyone has any questions. Tia, did you see any questions in the?
No.
No questions there. We'll give you guys a minute here if anyone has any questions about forgiveness, where you stand with all of it.
And you know, if you have any questions, I also want you all to so at the beginning, you what was the question, Kayla? You asked them to come in about how they feel about the topic of forgiveness. Put at the end how, if anything has changed, or if it's still remained the same about how you feel about the topic of forgiveness, ranking it 1 to 5. Okay.
Or dropping any emojis.
Let us know where you're at. Right. Right. And if you have any questions, for sure we will take those on. And then thinking of any questions that you want us to answer in the future, I will be posting in upcoming stories, asking you what questions would you like us to answer in our next IG Live topics, because it is a series on forgiveness. So we definitely want to incorporate some of these questions and things that you find challenging. So make sure you check out our stories so that you can let us know what you want us to talk about.
Absolutely. Or DM us too. Anything.
Yeah, or DM us. Yeah, I forget about that part.
We love feedback from you guys. So anything that you guys have to share, we would love to hear from you. And you know, we always have our complimentary sessions as well. So if you're at a place where you're ready to dive a little bit deeper, we have access to those in both of our IG bios. We have links on our websites to schedule those complimentary sessions. Very
Of
excited.
course. All right. JC said, just ready to start and complete this journey. I know it'd be like, can we get it over already?
Yeah. Can I
But
check this box?
I believe I also want you to really embrace the journey, because the learning is in the journey. So we don't want to even rush it. Let's just, we're going to get started and embrace all the parts, so that as we develop this ability to get it with more ease, that we really learn this process so it's easier on us as we go through it. Zokomoko said, I just really enjoyed the conversation, and there were several points that I just want to sit with and let it sink in, just process. And I know I want you all to do something loving and kind to yourselves. I don't know if you need to have a dance party. If you want me to get one started, I always can do that. If you need to light some candles and have a nice little soaky bath, do something that's engaging to the senses. If you need to take a stroll around your neighborhood, not to be for your heart rate, but for just relaxation, like relaxing color walk, like I talk about, where you identify a color before you leave and look for that color all through your walk. So do some things that are nourishing to your soul. Up your self-care. You have to be on your priority list.
Absolutely. Especially with conversations like this, especially with heaviness. We have to stretch after. We gotta love on ourselves. So, Carly said, very eye-opening. We're really glad, because this has been, a journey for us as well, and we've been sometimes holding those eyes open as we move forward, but it's a journey that I think T and I are so blessed to be able to share with you guys and share this information. So we're so thankful.
All right, we got a question. Ooh. How do you forgive someone if they don't accept your forgiveness towards them? I'll let you take this one first, or take it, period.
Okay. So forgiving someone who, sorry, I just want to get the situation. So forgiving someone who you asked for forgiveness.
Right, and they don't accept.
I think that really comes back to honoring people's journeys and that compassion piece. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to bring up, I love the maps. We all have different maps, and we are doing the best that we can with the tools that we have. And that's all that we can do, period. And I wish I could just hand you a pill and say, here you go. It's going to be rainbows and butterflies, and everything's going to be great, and everyone's going to accept your forgiveness, and you can just move forward, and everyone's going to be dancing. It's really not like that, because we are all on our own journeys. And it is so complex. And maybe that person isn't in a place of embracing acceptance.
Right. They might be to some zero forgiveness.
Exactly.
They might be there. Right.
Or it might be that conditional forgiveness, but that's where you have to have that. You have to, again, I'm going to come back to this time and time again, because I swear by it. I walk through this with myself, where I have to feel through that discomfort of they're not willing to accept me. Do I accept myself? Can I find that compassion and that acceptance with me? Really, that's what it comes down to. And maybe right now you're saying no, because I've been there and I've said no, but really having to come to that place of I'm doing the best that I can on my journey. And yeah, maybe I've screwed up, or maybe we're just not at that place, and it's going to come with divine time, or maybe it won't come at all, but you just have to find that peace with yourself that I'm doing the best that I can, and they're doing the best that they can. And to me, that's what it comes down to. Right. So again,
it's your intention. Right.
Exactly.
It's your intention. So what is my intent in this? Is my intent to acknowledge this individual's hurt that I believe I inflicted upon them?
Yeah.
And to try to provide closure? Or what is my intent? Is my intent to release and acknowledge, right?
Yeah.
then you can say, if this is my intent to release and acknowledge my fault, then you can be at peace with that.
Absolutely.
If we're not being genuine in our ask for forgiveness and things like that, then that can be something else. But inside, if you know my intent is to acknowledge how I've hurt you and impacted you, then you can be at peace regardless of what they do it, because that's the person you got to be okay with. Because if your intent is, I'm going to show up in this world and I'm going to provide love and kindness and live to maintain my joy and my peace. Therefore, I need to acknowledge how I've hurt Kayla. So Kayla, I want to ask for your forgiveness because I hurt you. Then I'm going to be okay.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter what I say.
It doesn't matter, because that's when I'm really releasing. It's no longer dependent on this other person. It's about who I want to show up in this world to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So mine can't be contingent upon anybody else. And so it's so much power in intention, y'all. That's why you will hear it being brought up so many times in our conversation. Because when I'm clear on my intentions, everything else gets easier.
Absolutely.
Because I'm clear on my intentions. So if I'm coming from a place of love and kindness, and that's what I want you to experience in my presence. And that's what I'm giving you in this forgiveness, asking for forgiveness, because I know I wronged you. You accepting it, that's for you. That's not about me.
Yeah.
Hence, I'm going to live and operate in this world because I have acknowledged that. And I tried to rectify it. I did the best I could. So at the end of every day, if you can say, I did the best I could, then, hey, then you are right. If you can't say, if you left some stuff unsorted that day, and then you can't say, I did the best I could, then it might mean you need to go sort some business out.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and I love just, again, where are you rooted? Where are you rooted?
Completely.
Because that's where your power lies.
Completely.
If you can't figure out where your roots are at, that's where we get disheveled. That's where it's a mess. Right. That's where other people can pick us up and put us where they want to. Right. We feel stuck, all of those things. So when you figure out where you want to be rooted, and that's what you move forward through life, that's your power. Own that.
Because if somebody's not forgiving me, it's like, I'm allowing them to determine my value. Like, I'm not valuable. I'm not kind. Really, this is the things that's going through my head. I'm not valuable. I'm not kind. I'm not okay. I'm a mean person. I'm a jerk. I'm a this. I'm a that. All of that. That's the things that's going. So it's about who they've assessed, because that's where the self-care comes in.
Absolutely.
You got to know you're valuable. You got to know you exude love. You got to know that your intentions are pure.
Absolutely.
The problem is if you ain't taking care of that part, because remember why we said steps. So that's why we began with this self-care journey, this self-love journey.
Yep.
Because so many of us have neglected us so much, we can't even see nothing good. We got to start with this focusing on ourselves, because we already depleted, and then we got to talk about forgiveness. Like, oh my gosh, how in the heck am I supposed to do that? Because I am over here neglected. My cup is in the negative.
Yeah.
I'm not operating from a full cup. You can't do love and kindness from an empty negative cup.
Nope.
That's the lesson in it today, y'all.
Yes, it is. Okay. I see Zokomoko mentioned, I think we also need to focus impact as well and come to terms. Exactly. And that's where forgiveness comes in. It's coming to terms with what is. It's seeing it, honoring it, and just moving forward, taking off the weight, breathing, letting it go. Absolutely. This has been great.
Everybody, I want y'all to breathe. I want
Yeah.
us to inhale and exhale. And that's what I want you to sit with. How I want you to sit with forgiveness. I want you to inhale and exhale. We slowing things down. We're going to process it.
Yep.
And we're going to educate ourselves. And we're going to set our intents around forgiveness.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do some self-care. Okay?
We are the priority.
Right. You done got your action steps for the day, okay? All right. Carla said, manifest forgiveness for yourself before others. I'm still struggling with forgiveness towards myself. That's it.
Absolutely.
Because we have neglected ourselves, so we got to priority. If we're not ready for the forgiveness, we're embracing that term, but go back here and start the self-care.
Yep.
Where you are valuing self, you've normalized this routine, you know you're a priority. Diversify your self-care routines, walking, meditating, all the things, yoga, physical, all of these things need to be combined, from your food to everything. Start somewhere. I ain't saying doing it all at once. Start somewhere. Make a choice to do something every day to nourish your soul.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Well, thank you, everyone. This has been really amazing, and like, we really can't do it without you and without your participation. It just makes it so much more lively. So I just want to give so much gratitude as you guys walk through this.
Yes.
Because it's not easy, and we just want to say that we see you. We see that you're trying, that you are doing the best that you can with the tools that you have. We see you, and we want to honor you, and we want to celebrate you as you continue to walk on this journey, because it's not for the lighthearted.
Right.
It's not for the lighthearted, but man, that peace, that love, that lightness, the breath, it is all so worth it. So remember that when it gets hard, you're worth it. You deserve it. You are worthy, and you will get there. So, I'm so excited. And this again isn't the end. We will see you guys next month on the third Saturday at 12 p.m. And we are so excited to continue to dive into, you know, more education and more action steps for you guys on this journey of forgiveness, because and also I'm excited to check in with you guys and see where you guys are at too. Because a month is a beautiful amount of time to just start embracing it, giving forgiveness some hugs, letting it in, and just allow that to check in. So again, we hope you guys all enjoyed this. I want to challenge all of you guys to share this IG Live video or any of our other ones with other people in your life. We want to get this information out there. It's not a secret. We want to share it with the world. So help us doing that by sharing that. And if you know anyone who would benefit from either coaching with us or learning from us, please share our websites. Share that we have our complimentary sessions, because again, T and I, we just want to help people. We want to help people on this journey so badly. So we are here for you. And again, we are so excited to see you next month. We hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yes. See you next time, folks.